Recently, an associate was incredulous that I could see myself as a collegiate basketball coach. In my mind, being a basketball coach is different by degrees, not kinds, from being a restaurant manager or a CEO. Unlike CEOs, restaurant managers and coaches need to recruit those select individuals with potential and commit to develop their abilities. I doubt that I would win an NCAA title at any division. I would measure my success not exclusively by the objective standards of wins and losses, but how my players developed. Of course, objective development is limited to physical accomplishments, but subjective accomplishments include mental and moral aspects. By nature, Capricorns are resilient, and perhaps the best example at the Division I level is Lou Henson, who began coaching at a junior college, then moved to high school, Hardin-Simmons, New Mexico State, and finally Illinois. Coach Henson won nearly two-thirds of his games, one Big Ten title, one Big West title, and enjoyed two Final Four appearances in 39 years. Interestingly, in 1989, Illinois defeated Michigan by 12 at home and 16 away, only to lose to the Wolverines in the Final Four. Coach Henson was inducted in the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2015. As I said, Capricorns are resilient. Coaching basketball is not a democratic process. Players don't vote on who are the starters or who is the coach. Just as team sports are not democratic, employees do not decide among themselves who will be in management, no doubt to the consternation of socialists, rabble-rousers, and communists. Students in primary school do not determine either their curriculum or their teachers, and in secondary education, students don't decide who will be their professors. Major decisions by families are not democratic. Where to go for dinner is not a major decision, unless Apprentice Denver is involved. We conclude that whenever important decisions are required, whether in sports, business, education, or the family, and importance to sports or business is winning, and importance to education or the family is success, democratic principles are absent. In these examples, decisions are in the hands of the few, the capable, the knowledgeable. We often hear that the U.S. is a democracy, or that democracy is the best form of ruling citizens. Yet, if democracy is the best type of government, that is, the most successful type of governing people, or the most successful method of achieving goals, then we would expect that team sports, business, the armed services, and education would eagerly embrace democratic principles. We ask, and the gentle viewer must answer, if there is an ongoing conspiracy among coaches, CEOs, generals, and professors preventing the implementation of democracy in sports, business, the military, and education. We sometimes hear the lament that high school graduates lack critical thinking skills. Critical thinking, or not accepting everything as it is presented, is more difficult to teach than simply memorizing facts. We doubt that being skeptical or not easily convinced, having doubts or reservations can be taught. It is a gift of nature. Primary school is designed to what everyone can do, memorize, and not what leading a fulfilling life requires, skepticism. Many people easily confound intelligence, or the ability to solve problems, with memory, or the ability to recall specifics. In conclusion to this part, individuals who have excellent recall are thought to be intelligent, whereas individuals who can solve problems are difficult to classify. Moving on. From the available evidence, humans have always buried their dead. Since the oldest skeletons indicate care was taken when the deceased was placed in a grave, and not haphazardly thrown in a pit, we infer that the deceased was still valued by the living. Ancient men would have dreams about the deceased, so the living would know the deceased still existed, although of course not in this world. That would be crazy. Ancient man would conclude that the living are on the earth, and the dead exist beneath the earth, since the dead are buried and are never seen in our world. The land of the dead can be called Sheol, Hades, or the Duat. Eventually, a natural hierarchy would result from man's reasoning, that the seven gods, the planets, are in the sky, the living are on the earth, and the dead are under the earth. Later, some great men would be deified, because either due to the opinion that their achievements were blessed by the gods, or they were friends of the gods, and the creation of constellations would follow, such as Hercules and Orion. In modern Christianity, the dead are no longer relegated to the underworld to wait in trepidation for the day of judgment. They immediately go to heaven. It doesn't matter if modern Christians accomplish anything. It doesn't matter if they lack virtues. It doesn't matter if they are immoral, so as long as they believe that they are saved. Modern Christians no longer hope for heaven, since they are guaranteed a heavenly afterlife. We quote Fred, that every man, because he is an immortal soul, is as good as every other man, end quote. Otherwise said, popular opinions concerning how men should be governed have been accepted by modern Christianity, and now the celestial kingdom is not limited to one God, the gods, or deified men, but is the right of everyone. As a famous occultist once wrote, every man and woman is a star. In conclusion, democratic principles are rejected by every group, sports, business, education, the military, where results are important. Democratic principles are only found in popular elections and in modern Christianity. From the preceding examples, we conclude that the outcome or results of popular elections are irrelevant to government. The general viewer may conclude that the explicit goal of modern Christianity, of assuring the salvation of immortal souls, is also irrelevant. Price and participation vary, and as always, the general viewer reaches his own informed conclusions. If the general viewer enjoyed our discussion, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel.